Hey YouTube, if you're clicking on this video, you are a very loyal subscriber, or you're new to this channel and you're wondering, what do I run now that Bastiodon Wiggly is banned and I can't just run that toxic team? Well, we are going to look at that right now. It is the Great League Remix. So Great League Remix is a Great League where 20 Pokemon are banned, and those 20 Pokemon banned are on the screen. Some of these, I like this list overall. I really think they did a really good job with this list of banning a lot of stuff that you see constantly in the meta. Some of these don't matter as much this season. So let me just go over the ones that don't matter. Whiscash being banned doesn't matter because Quagsire has replaced it as the top anyways. Honestly, everything else is pretty medi to a certain extent. Doesn't matter as much because Annihilate took it as the top spot, but Annihilate is banned. So it's nice that if you ban Annihilate, might as well ban medi. So that's actually a nice answer there. And again, Talonflame, I feel like most people don't run Talonflame, but they run Skeletors, but Skeletors is also banned. So it's nice that they took the first one out and also the second replacement, as opposed to Whiscash, the second replacement is Quagsire. You can just substitute. It's not as easy to substitute now with some of these double bans, so that's great. So looking at this, what do I see right off the bat? What do I think is gonna rise or fall? So the first thing I noticed is three sort of counter users: Annihilate, Medi, and Vigoroth. So one of my teams has a bunch of normal typings because those three Pokemon are banned. So three counter users banned, you'd have to go with the Pure Fighter, and there's lots of flying still. I noticed that Gligar is not banned. So Gligar Quagsire is still everywhere in the open. It is still open there. But overall, I like this list. There's, again, the toxic Pokemon like Bastiodon Wiggly banned. There's the bulky Pokemon that have been destroying this meta like Azumarill and Lantern and Lickitung. There's Feraligatr that got boosted and it's being used everywhere. There's Charjabug that has been one of the go-to now. So this list is pretty fulsome. Like I said, I could see other things, and let's just go to the rankings right now because Bastiodon's banned, but Carbink is ranked number 1 on this list. So not surprising, Carbink is banned. Let me just quickly open this up again. How many steals are banned? Only a couple. Skarmory and Bastiodon are the only steals on this list that are banned. So there's still other steals out there, and Registeel is number 2, and then Steelix up there as well. So Carbink, those will cause you problems. And you are weak to and ground, right? So yes, Whiscash is banned, but hello, number 3 Quagsire, and number 15 Quagsire, and Empoleon has a Steel Water, right? It's just there's things that will beat you out there as Carbink. So as number 1, I really don't like using Carbink. Honestly, I probably, if I'm going to use something toxic, it is probably Bastiodon. I really think even though Carbink has that sort of coverage, if you just want pure bulk, just use the Bastiodon. And then, like I said, so there's a couple steals banned, and there's a bunch of fighters banned, right? So Registeel, Steelix up there. I've got a double steel team with Registeel, Steelix. I think Steelix is very safe in this meta, right? Two of the main fairies are banned, Azumarill and Wiggly. So have a steel that has Dragon Tail where you kind of be doing neutral against each other. It's just nice. Plus a couple steals are banned, so the Dragon Tail. Plus I think Dragons will actually be, there's Goodra, but I think Dragons will jump up a little bit. So having Steelix on your team, I think is going to be pretty safe. There's a few safe Pokemon in this meta, which I'm going to go to in a second. So Quagsire, like I said, Whiscash is banned. Quagsire has risen to the top once Skull got banned anyway, so expect to see Quagsire. Gligar at number 4 and 13. Expect to see Gligar everywhere, right? So you may see a lot of this. This may look like the open to a certain extent, right? Because just looking at this list, Quagsire, Gligar, Mantine, Empoleon, Mandibuzz, Guzzlord, Poliwrath, Swampert, double Goodra, right? So it is an open Great League with 20 Pokemon banned. And when you have 20 Pokemon banned, you just start thinking about replacements. So Whiscash banned, Quagsire, Swampert filled that bill well. Annihilate, Vigoroth, and Medi banned. Poliwrath is your next best counter user up there, right? So Skarmory banned makes Gligar even better, right? Because Skarmory is one of the answers to Gligar. So that's banned. Gligar takes a little jump up there. So that's just kind of how you got to think of it. Couple ice on this list, Aurorus and Walrein. It's an interesting one because I get it, because there are, like I said, a bunch of the fighters banned and a few steals banned. So Walrein and Aurorus a little better in this meta. So let's actually look at some teams here. So I always, even if I do not want to use it, I just start with Pokemon number 1 on the list, Carbink, just to see like, okay, it's ranked number 1, where its matchups. Not surprising. Pretty dominant, except for steals and the mud, and like the muds, right? Gligar, Quagsire, Ground, Swampert, and then you got Registeel there, right? So you need some answers to those. And I comboed it with 2 very meta Pokemon. So this is a very, very meta team, Gligar and Poliwrath. Both super safe, right? So if it's a steel, Poliwrath can deal with most steels. If it's a ground, Gligar and Poliwrath should be able to deal with the ground to a certain extent. Poliwrath weak to flying and grass. Gligar and Carbink, you're double weak to grass. Carbink is also weak to grass, but most grass, Carbink can also chip extremely well, so you don't need to like be too worried about that. So if you're looking for a meta team, that's a good way to start. Speaking about meta, Quagsire. So Whiscash is banned, but Quagsire is super good. So what's going to be your problems? You're going to have some flyer problems. You're going to have a grass problem. So flyers and grass, I think, are your 2 biggest. So I put in Pidgeot to deal with the flyers and grass. And then I was like, I need something safe. And I had just used, if you looked at my Great League team yesterday, Defense Deoxys. And I said, Defense Deoxys is back on the meta menu because it is essentially a kind of sneaky, safe play right now. I don't think Sableye is banned. No, so Sableye is not banned, but Trevenant is banned. Annihilape is kind of a closest matchup. You could throw Psycho Boost, but they can also throw Night Slash Shadow Ball. So a couple Ghosts banned. Skeledirge also banned, right? So that's sort of bottom row there. Even Charjabug as the bug and Talonflame as a flyer, right? So the whole bottom row, some of Defense Deoxys' biggest issues there now out of the way. So I think Defense Deoxys is going to be pretty safe. Again, you can use it on the lead. I think Quagsire is safe. I think you can use actually any... Depends how you want to play this team. I think this team has a lot of flexibility with how you want to play it. You can do Pidgeot lead, where you just Feather Dance, Brave Bird, and Bail into either, honestly, Quagsire or Defense Deoxys. You could Defense Deoxys lead, where you just Psycho Boost and Bail into something like Quagsire. Or you can just run Quagsire lead, which is pretty safe, and then go into DD. Going into Pidgeot is a little trickier, because if you do get hit with some of the steals, you don't have any moves for them. It's not like Noctowl, which used to back in the day had the Shadow Balls for coverage. Not so much here. Gallade, Steelix, Registeel. So ABB style team. Again, you are double weak to fire in the back. It's not like Gallade handles fire. In fact, Gallade... Well, the good news is what fires are left. And I guess Typhlosion is one that you got to worry about a little bit. But Steelix as a safe swap is very strong. And if you can just look at the first column, because that's Steelix, and the third column is Registeel. Both are pretty strong in this meta, right? So you use Gallade lead. If you can, Leaf Blade or Close Combat and Bail. And then both of the back lines pretty safe. Honestly, I'm not even too worried about like what happens if you see a Quagsire in the back. Steelix with Dragon Tail and either Psychic Fangs or Crunch or whatever you want to use on it can chip quite a lot on that. You're surprised every time I go up against Steelix with a good Pokemon. I'm always surprised at how much damage it can actually take. Triple water team. So I started with Mantine. I'm like, okay, Mantine's probably one of the best flyers in this meta outside of Gligar. So I started with that. You're going to have problems with your rock and your steel. So I was like, okay, what deals with rock and steel? And I was like, Swampert. And I'm like, yeah, we're doing this. So we just went triple water team, double weak to grass on the back, but you can safe swap, basically lead Mantine, safe swap Poliwrath, try and draw out a grass, hit it with the icy wind a couple times, Mantine to beat it, and then Swampert to roam free. That is how you have to see it. I don't know how much grass will be in this meta. I mean, a lot of fire is banned, but Hello next line. Double Dragon. Empoleon Double Dragon. Couple Charmers banned. Azumarill and Wiggly. The Double Dragon line has been very safe in most cases. And if you're going to be weak to Carbink, having Goodredge or Safe Swap with Aqua Tail is not bad. And then obviously Empoleon just to punish the crap out of Carbink. So ABB style line. A lot of my subscribers have done Double Dragon with either Lantern or Skeledirge, but both of those are banned. So going, if you want to run this team, to try Empoleon, I think is a nice substitute for the Pokemon that are otherwise banned. And the last team, when you are in a limited meta, there's certain Pokemon that always rise to the top. So Vigoroth is one, but Vigoroth is banned. So what is a Vigoroth Light? Double. So Double is up there, and I'm like, okay, what else is good as like a safe swap in limited metas? Greedent and Froslass. So you're seeing not a lot of X's, which are wins, but you're also seeing, outside of Froslass, which does a couple of those like couple issues, you are seeing just a lot of safety. There's not a lot of hard losses either. And that's kind of how this team plays. You just like can jump around with a lot of different stuff depending on it. I don't know if it'll work. But again, in limited metas, there's just certain things that always do well, and these three are the ones that always do well. So that is it. I expect to see, like I said, I gave you a couple teams that are already in the open, right? Like the Gligar, Quagsire, Core, the Double Dragon line. Like these are already out there. So I don't know how different it's going to be, but there's a lot that is banned, which is good. That will provide you some flexibility in using other Pokemon. So looking forward to this this week, even though I think it's on for 2 weeks. I think this is on for 2 weeks. Let me just confirm that, because I'm pretty sure next week is the Open Master League and then the Remix again. And it is. So you have Great League Remix this week and the Great League Remix next week with the Master League. So that's not bad, right? It's Ultra League and Master League for the next 2 weeks as well. So having a Great League option and having it a Remix as opposed to a very limited cup, that's an improvement. We'll take that. So you have time to go through and test Pokemon out this week, and then figure out a team you want to use for next week. So that is it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.